Life is about making choices. First, we make these choices, and then these choices make us. I'd like to invite all of you here to give yourselves a round of applause for making the choice to be here. Go ahead. Like what Sadiq mentioned, you could have been at home sleeping on a Sunday raining morning. It's a Sunday. All of us should be resting right now. Gerald already started to rest the moment I start to speak. But it's okay. All of you have made the choice to be here, and I really humbly salute and appreciate all of you for being here as well. To introduce myself, my name is Haider. Good morning. Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum to Cikgu Suri as well, and everyone for being here. It's really a pleasure to share with you a little bit about some of my experiences here in public speaking. To share with you a little bit about myself, my name is Haider. I am a peak performance success coach, like what Nora mentioned. How many of you can guess my age?
40.
40.
You went to Umrah so you dah balik. You are 20. Kau dah pergi Umrah?
20.
Thank you for stating that. Anyone can guess?
29.
28.
25. Okay. You? 28.
Still eligible.
Still eligible to some people, depending on who you ask. So I'm actually 30 years old. I turned 30 last month. I've been speaking and I've been running my business as a coach and trainer for over 7 years already. So I even started while I was in Polytechnic, and it was something that I've always found to be my purpose, my passion, and I feel very blessed to know what I wanted to do very early on in life. But I didn't start out like that. In fact, when I started out, in my teenage years, I was very much a very shy and awkward student. Just sitting in class, not to speak in front of the class, just to raise my hand and ask a question, or just to ask an eraser from the person sitting next to me, I already start to feel nervous. Okay, I feel nervous to speak to my teachers. I feel nervous to speak to my friends. But there was one thing that I tend to be really good at, and that was language. So I prefer to write because I was a very strong introvert. But if you ask me to speak in front of a class, I would get very, very horrified. One fine day, while I was in Sec 3, I was called to give a speech, and it wasn't just any other speech. Apparently, there was a contest. There was an essay writing contest, and I won. And because I won, my English teacher said, "Hey Haider, very good. Well done, congratulations. We want you to give this essay as a speech to the entire school during morning assembly." How do you think I felt?
Excited.
Very happy.
Excited, aroused, right? I wanted the world to eat me up that day. But I thought to myself, you know what? This may be my opportunity to prove myself. To prove that I'm not just any other loser. That I'm not just any other shy boy who cannot speak to girls, cannot speak to guys, cannot speak to anybody. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll take it up. So I practiced for a certain period of time. How long do you think I practiced? From the time where my teacher asked me to give that speech to the time where I actually gave the speech, how long do you think I took?
1 week.
Including the video montage.
1 week?
Yeah.
1 month.
2 months.
1 month? 2 months?
Finish.
1 day? Okay. I practiced for 6 months. I practiced for 6 months because they only scheduled my speech 6 months later.
What type of school is this?
Alright? Not a very good school. So I practiced for 6 months and I thought, wow, I got a lot of time. So almost every day, I would stand in front of the mirror and I practice my speech over and over and over again. You know what they say, right? If you want to get good at public speaking, you need to do what? Practice more lah. Practice more, very easy, right? the more you practice, the better you get, right? Practice makes perfect, they say.
Yeah.
So I practiced for 6 months. And on the day itself, on the day whereby I had to give this speech, I remember the feeling that I felt. It was as if I was about to be executed and there was a guillotine in front. So imagine this. I would be all the way at the back here, and then they would invite me to come to speak. So once they call my name, I would walk like this. My friends would say later that there was a podium, they could see my legs shaking.
Pergi tangis.
Say dancing lah.
Okay. I forgot to go to the toilet before that. Thank God no accidents on that point. So, I thought to myself, okay, I practiced for 6 months. My script is there, just read from the script. Right? So I did that. I took my script like this, and I read first line, second line, third line, fourth line. Now take note, 2,000 students sitting in front of me. This is my first time ever giving a speech. Second line, third line, fourth line, first paragraph, second paragraph. And I thought I was doing well. And then I started to hear giggling coming from the audience. Like Nora right now. Like Terrence right now. Giggling coming from the audience. And I thought to myself, why are these people giggling at me? Why are they laughing at me? So I just continue, read and read, second, third paragraph. And then the laughter got louder and louder and louder. Until I realized there was something really wrong about the way I was giving this speech. Turns out, it was a 5-minute speech. I gave the speech in 1 minute. I read through my speech so fast that people were laughing. I saw the look of my English teacher standing at the back. She was the one who asked me to give the speech, right? She was like this. After I stepped down from the podium, everyone was staring at me. I thought, wow, I think this is my last day on earth. There is no more already. So I remember going home, I told myself, you know what? I would never put myself in that position ever again. For the rest of my life, I would never put myself in that position ever again. So what do you think I did after that? I just didn't give any more speeches. I did nothing. I did absolutely nothing. Okay. It was only much later, while I was in national service, and then I felt inspired to join Toastmasters. Okay, many years later. But it was not that particular incident that is the highlight here. What I wanted to share with you is, what did I do in between? How did I get from there to now speaking right here? And in fact, certifying other public speaking coaches to become international standard. What did I do in between? Today I'm going to be sharing with all of you 3 ways public speaking can change your life if you decide to improve this particular skill. And then if you have time, as a bonus, I'll give you a very simple tip that you can apply later if you choose to give a speech like this, or any presentation that you choose. Alright? So, the first way public speaking can change your life is that you learn to present yourself better. You learn to present yourself better. This was something that was not obvious to me last time. Okay? I would walk around hunchback. I was very skinny. Today also very skinny lah. But back then, much more skinny. My hair not combed, alright? I don't know how to look at people in the eye. Okay, very different. So public speaking trained me to know how to present myself with people. In fact, one of the first few people who inspired me was this gentleman right in the corner here. His name is Sadiq. he was one of the first few people who I saw or who I identified as, hey, this is a Toastmaster. And in fact, the very first time I saw Sadiq's speech was here in Toa Payoh Central. Okay, it was a Kasuma event, and he was speaking at an event on young entrepreneurs. And I was there because at that point of time, I was also involved in a youth organization. So when I saw him speak, I was like, wow, you mean that's possible? And I got inspired by that. And eventually I found out that, oh, Sadiq was from Toastmasters. Now back then I was in Polytechnic. And every single time I would walk past the hallway, there's always this banner at the corner. Singapore Polytechnic Toastmasters. I would walk past this Toastmasters banner, I would walk past, and I had no CCA back then. And I'll think to myself, what is this Toastmasters? Join Toastmasters. And I'm very different from Sadiq because unlike him, who thought Toastmasters was about cooking and baking toast, I actually know that Toastmasters is about having toast, right? Like the wine glass. So, Muslim cannot drink wine, right? Cannot join this kind of club. That was the first thing I thought to myself. No. So I didn't know what Toastmasters were. And then I started doing more research, and when I saw that he was from Toastmasters, I said, oh, you mean Toastmasters about public speaking? I didn't know that. Then I remembered my incident when I was 15 years old, giving that speech. And I remembered the promise that I made to myself. So, when I was in national service, I joined my first Toastmasters club. And back in my first Toastmasters club, it was called Lion City Toastmasters Club. This was in 2013. Okay. I remember I came from, because I was in the police force in my national service, I came in half police pants, police boots, and then my top, I was wearing a black hoodie, very shady, and then my pockets were bulging out as if I was hiding some concealed items. So I was dressed like I was on both sides of the law. I went to the Toastmaster Club, and they looked at me like, "Oh, budak ni," right? So they were like, "Oh, I'm here for the Toastmaster." I said, "Toastmaster." Oh, okay. So I went there, and the feeling was exactly like how you guys are feeling right now. How did these people get so good, right? And are they going to ask me to speak? I felt the exact same way. And that was the point where I really felt out of place. Why are these people wearing suits, wear tie, look so sharp? Right? And I was like, wow, public speaking is more than just speaking. It is about presenting the best version of yourself. And once you are used to that, you realize that it will have a lot of implications in your social life, in your business, in your career, and people will just naturally see you differently. So that is one of the most powerful ways public speaking can change your life. Now the second way that public speaking can change your life is that it can give you an unfair advantage sometimes. Let me share with you a story. So while I was still in the police force, and I had joined Toastmasters already, there was one particular incident where they called me to do an interview because they wanted to deploy me to another unit. And because of that, they only pre-selected certain individuals from different units to go join this new unit. I'm not going to say what the unit is, but it has something to do with trains. Okay? So, there were seven candidates there, and I was one of the candidates. So during the interview, they called one by one up into the room where we were to do the interview, and then after that we would sit back in the panel. So one by one they went up, and I was the last one. Okay, I was the last one. So there were about 7 individuals, I was the last one. And then when it was done, one of the interviewers came out, okay, she was a staff sergeant, and this is what she said, and it blew my mind until today. So what she said was, she said, "Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm number 7, right? She didn't say me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want you guys to just share in 30 seconds why you deserve the position and not Haider." And then I was like, okay. That was a very awkward position for me. And then all of them was like, and it was very, very startling for me because I didn't know what exactly did I do to win them over. All of us were equally qualified. And then I spoke to the interviewer after that. She said, you have very good communication skills. That is exactly what we wanted for this position. And that's when I realized, wow, Toastmasters had a lot of implications, not just for me in my career, but also for the way people see me, the way people interact with me for interviews. And it had a lot of benefits which you wouldn't know until you experience it yourself. So I realized that once you are comfortable here, right, like what Cikgu Suri mentioned, once you learn to have fun on stage, you are comfortable, you become much more confident, charismatic in any social situation. And somehow, you will always be selected or arrowed to give speech lah, right? Wedding, they ask you to present lah, okay? Or you're supposed to lead the tour. But it puts you in a very good position because you are visible. People see you, they respect you. If they respect you, they will follow you. Okay? So, unfair advantage. The moment you join Toastmasters, the moment you work on your public speaking skills, can give you an unfair advantage. And that brings me to the third point. One powerful benefit, if you want to improve your public speaking skills, is that it makes you ready. It makes you ready for opportunities. If let's say last minute you are called to do an interview, will you take it up? If you have the confidence that's come from Toastmasters or come from public speaking and you know that you can do it, you will take it up. If there was a last minute business opportunity and then you have to present yourself or give a presentation, you will do it. Terence only asked me to give this segment, you know how long ago? How long ago was it? Last night, right? Last night changed the title.
Yeah.
Okay? So I didn't have to present anything. I did my notes here, right? But I said, okay, fine, let's do it. Okay? So Toastmasters or public speaking makes you ready for opportunities. Just now Cikgu Suri mentioned that public speaking is one of the biggest fears, right? In fact, they did a study in the US whereby they listed down the top phobias of everybody, right? They did a consensus poll, and then what were the top phobias of all Americans? Death. Death was number 2. What's higher than death? The biggest fear that Americans have was public speaking, because they ranked it higher than death. Okay, to the point where they were joking that, say that in a funeral, some people would rather be in the coffin in the grave than to give the eulogy. Right? Than to address the people. They would rather be in the grave. I would rather be there. Okay? So if you can master public speaking, you are already considered cream of the crop. Right? People will already see you as, wow, you are somebody. Because you know how to present yourself and you can command that kind of respect from people. So those, I would say, are the 3 most powerful benefits that I have experienced myself. It has not just changed me, it has transformed my life. And it has led me to do what I really love, which is to coach and train other people on charisma and public speaking as well. So I will not end off my speech at this point because I wanted to also share with you a tip, a very simple tip that you can start applying immediately. Would you like to know that tip?
Yes.
Yes? Alright, very good. Love the response. So, this very simple tip, I will illustrate to you with a simple experiment. Okay, with a very, very simple experiment. So, I'm going to show you 3 different demonstrations. Okay, 3 different. I'm going to give you a set of instructions. Please don't do these instructions. Just remain in your seats. Okay, don't do these instructions. It's only as an example. Okay. So, I'm going to give you 3 different demonstrations, A, B, and C. And I want you to tell me which one you like best. Do you like A, do you like B, or do you like C? Can?
Can.
Can? Can? Okay, don't do, just remain in your seat and observe. Okay? Alright? This is A. Okay, this is A. I want all of you from this side of the room, please stand up. All of from this side of the room, please stand up. And then after that, we would congregate to the back of the room, and then we would leave together. Okay? That is A. This is B. I want all of you from this side of the room, please stand up. All of you from this side of the room, please stand up. And then after that, we would congregate to the back of the room, and then we would leave together. Okay? And that was B. Okay. Now this is C. This is C. I want all of you from this side of the room, please stand up. All of you from this side of the room, please stand up. And after that, we will congregate to the back of the room, and we'll leave together. Okay? Which one do you like best? A, B, or C? How many of you like A? Raise your hand. You like A?
It's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, A and B are similar.
Yeah. Was it different?
Okay. How many of you are sharp enough to say?
No.
How many of you like A? You like A? Okay. A? Okay. How many of you like B? B. Okay. If they are similar, how come there's different groups?
Don't know. Because of me. What's the difference? I like B.
You like B?
Yeah. Don't know the difference.
How many of you like C? C. Some people have abused childhood. Right?
Now we know.
Very difficult. You must doa for it. Okay. So, what's the difference between A, B, and C?
The body language.
What aspects? What exactly in the body language? The yes, the gesture, the hand gestures. Now, if you were to watch this video again, my tone was exactly the same. The words were exactly the same. Facial expression exactly the same. Okay, even the energy level is exactly the same. The only difference was my hand gestures. Okay. So for A, what did I do? Okay. Like this. Okay. I showed you my palm. Okay, I showed you my palm. So if I show you my palm like this, what am I conveying to you?
Openness.
Open gestures. Okay.
Welcoming.
Welcoming. What else?
Nothing to hide.
More polite, more accommodating, more warm, right? So if I show you my gestures like this, okay, it is more inviting to people. What did I do in B?
Where your palms?
Okay, I flip it over like bata, right? So I did this. Okay, rather than I did this. Okay, then I did this. So if I show you the back of my hand, what does it convey?
Command.
A lack of respect.
Lack of respect. Okay.
Commanding.
Commanding. What else?
Great distrust. No.
Mistrust.
Not open.
Okay, a little less open.
Yep.
Okay, what else? Condescending.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, like this, right? Okay, especially certain, I would say, conservative audience, they don't really like this. Okay, but if you see the Americans or the Westerners, very used to do this. Okay, so the main difference is that when you show your palms, all right, you are much more open, friendly, inviting, and you tend to be perceived as more likable. Okay, so if let's say you are in, okay, what kind of situations would this be useful to show your palms?
Your steward.
Steward, okay, service.
When we are welcoming the Jemaah in.
Yes, very good. When you're welcoming the people in, the Jemaah in, alright, always use this, right? Of course, Malays, we like to point. We don't use we don't use finger point, right? Very rude. Okay, but we do this, right? This way, sir. This way, ma'am. Okay. Now, if you were to just flip it over, alright, if you were to flip it over, it can command a little bit more authority.
Yep.
Okay, commanding, right? So, if let's say I were to do this way, sir. Okay, I'll give you an example. If there was a fire, would you rather I say, this way please? Or, this way please?
Depends if you like that.
Right? So, there's a fire over there. This way, sir.
No.
Right? Different, right? Okay? Sense of urgency. Okay? Authority. At this point, just listen. Okay? If I say this, listen. listen. You see that? Okay. So if let's say you are teacher like Cikgu Suri, or a lecturer, or you want to be perceived more as an expert, okay, you don't want too much of this. If too much of this, people don't respect you. Okay, because you are a bit low, right? But if you want to command more authority, right, this will, right? Not it like that, because if you do that,
Hail Hitler.
exactly, right? Hail Hitler is like this. Can you imagine if he did Hail Hitler? Not the same impact, right? Okay. A, B, and C. What was C? What did I do in C?
Point
Point
finger.
finger.
Point fingers, right? Okay. How did it make you feel?
My mother
Bad.
Like a child,
The child.
right?
Belittled.
Belittled, yes. So this means I'm higher than you. Okay. This means I'm higher than you, and you are not very intelligent. Okay. Why is it that when we address kids, we just do this, they know exactly what we mean? Did we teach them, oh, this means you must follow what I say? Did we really explain it? We didn't, right? Was there a guidebook? No. Was there a manual? No, right? But they know exactly what it means because it's instinctive. Okay, it's instinctive. Sometimes we know, hey, why is it that I love this ustaz so much? Or why is it that I love this speaker so much? We don't know why. But there are certain things that they are doing which is subconscious. Okay? And it's all through the little signaling that they are doing here. Okay? So, if you're a speaker, try your best not to do this. Okay? If you're doing 1, 2, 3, that's fine. Okay? But do not ever point at your audience, right? Because they feel it. Okay? It's like you're pointing a laser pointer at them and they can feel it. Alright? So you can point with your thumb, you can point with this, you can point with this, alright? And that's it. If you're teaching something, okay, so if let's say that this is a whiteboard, imagine you guys are students, alright? If I say, class, your homework is this, this, and this. Can do? Can. Okay. If let's say I'm a teacher, I say, class, the homework is this, this, and this. Can do? Nobody will do. Nobody will do the homework. Okay? So, importance and gestures. So, this is something that I would highly recommend all of you try later. If let's say you have a chance to speak here and try it out for yourself, right? See what it feels like. If let's say you are so used to doing this, right? See what it feels like to use more this kind of gestures, right? Or this kind of gestures. Try it out. Okay. Now, on a final note, before I wrap up for today, did you all find this segment useful?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. So on a final note, what I would love to share with all of you here today is something that is very close to my heart. Okay, and it was a quote that really impacted me and affected the way I ran my business, and it affected the way I conducted myself. So this quote says, your income is proportionate to your willingness to reinvent yourself. Your income will rise in proportionate to your willingness to reinvent yourself. Ask yourself, who do I want to be? Who do I want to be in society, in my family, in my friends group, in my community? Who do I want to be? What do I need to do to reinvent myself so that I can be the ideal self? That was the question that I asked myself in 15 years old. And when I came to Toastmasters, I made the choice. Because life is about making choices. First, we make these choices, and then, maybe many years later, you will realize that these choices make us. And with that, thank you all so much for your kind attention. Back to you, Toastmaster.